Kia ora, hello, namaste, ni hao. This is Prashant again, and we shall be continuing with our Fortinet series of labs and discussions. This video has been created for you to understand the theory and the fundamentals of FortiGate Software Defined Wide Area Network, or SD-WAN as it's called, and how to configure it on the local FortiGate. This is Lab 2 in the Fortinet Infrastructure Guide Operating System 6.2 series, and the details of these labs are mentioned on page 36 till 43 in the Infrastructure Lab Guide. This video will provide you an introduction to what SD-WAN is. We will also have a quick look at what SD-WAN performance service level agreements are and how we configure those on a FortiGate. And we will also learn a little bit about SD-WAN rules. The virtual machines you need to use for this lab are Linux, FortiManager, Local FortiGate, and the local Windows. If you watch this video and read through the guide, it should take you approximately 20 minutes to complete the lab on your machine. This lab will also have 2 questions and 1 upload on the Moodle quiz. For those who are using the virtual system, it's essential that prior to starting this lab, they would be required to restore the original file to local FortiGate firewall from the folder on the local Windows virtual machine desktop. It's located at resources initial lab environment config and upload the file local-initial.config. The file will reset all firewall conditions and you should not have a problem in the network if you configure the details as per instructions. While doing the lab, the local FortiGate config files are located in the resources, infrastructure, SD-WAN folder as mentioned in the lab guide. Let's start with a brief introduction to what is SD-WAN. We will identify certain use cases for SD-WAN, identify the implementation requirements of SD-WAN, and configure SD-WAN virtual link and load balancing as part of your lab. We will also configure static routes and firewall policies for SD-WAN. The last 2 bullets will be done by you when you start the lab. So what is a SD-WAN? SD-WAN is a virtual interface consisting of a group of member interfaces that can be connected to different link types. FortiGate groups all the member interfaces into a single virtual interface, the SD-WAN interface as it's called. Using SD-WAN simplifies configuration because the administrator can configure a single set of routes and firewall policies and apply them to all the member interfaces. There can be only one SD-WAN interface per virtual domain. One of the main motivators for deploying SD-WAN is effective WAN use. When you are using multiple WAN links, effective WAN use is achieved using various load balancing algorithms such as bandwidth usage sessions or application-aware routing. Another important feature of SD-WAN is link quality measurement. Using ping or HTTP echo, FortiGate can determine the latency, jitter, or packet loss percentage for each link and dynamically select link based on these measurements. This ensures high availability for business critical applications. Now you will learn about the SD-WAN use cases. In this example shown above on the slide, the customer here depends heavily on expensive, inflexible MPLS. Now all the traffic that is routed through the MPLS circuit to the provider cloud, then to the public cloud or internet is based on the application. The applications could be Oracle, it could be SAP, Citrix, VMware, whichever. As mentioned earlier, there is no flexibility in this scenario, and yet it is an expensive solution for the customer. How can the customer add redundancy, flexibility, reliability, and more important, security without adding costly infrastructure? You will learn about the solution in the next slide. Now, in the example now shown on the slide, the customer would like to keep MPLS for business critical applications while adding flexibility and redundancy. So MPLS has been used to send business critical traffic, for example, voice and video, based on the best path with less delay, jitter, or packet loss. In case the current path degrades below the policy threshold, business critical traffic will be rerouted to a new tunnel. Also, non-critical traffic is load balanced across different lines to maximize bandwidth or minimize costs. At the same time, the branch can have direct, secure access to the internet, which improves the cloud application performance and can load balance software as a service and infrastructure as a service content if needed. Now, in the example shown on this slide, costly MPLS is replaced by two VPN tunnels and yet gain robust resilience and redundancy. By replacing MPLS, the customer can minimize the cost while maximizing quality. The SD-WAN solution is a network application aware solution and dynamically selects the best WAN to maintain the highest SLA. Let's look at what SD-WAN configuration means. When you configure SD-WAN, you must specify at least two member interfaces and their associated gateways. You should configure SD-WAN early during the initial setup of FortiGate because if an interface is already referenced by a firewall policy or a static route, you cannot use it as a member interface. If you intend to use an interface as an SD-WAN member and that interface is being referenced by a firewall policy or static route, you must delete the associated firewall policy and static route before you can assign that interface as an SD-WAN member. SD-WAN supports physical interfaces as well as VLAN, aggregate, and IPsec interfaces. Please remember, SD-WAN supports physical interfaces as well as VLAN, aggregate, and IPsec interfaces. You can also add another member interface at a later date to add more bandwidth or quality of service options. FortiGate groups all the member interfaces into a single virtual interface, the SD-WAN interface as it's called. Using the SD-WAN simplifies configuration because the administrator can configure a single set of rules or routes and firewall policies and apply them to all the member interfaces. This can be only one SD-WAN interface per VDOM. In Fortinet operating system version 6.0 and beyond, an implicit rule is automatically generated when you enable SD-WAN. So that's visible on your slide on the left. If none of the conditions for any of the rules are met, then the implicit rule will be used. This implicit rule is simply designed to balance the traffic among all the available SD-WAN member links. You will learn more about the SD-WAN rules as you do the lab today. Essentially, what you've seen is that SD-WAN is based on load balancing methods, and this from that perspective is a very important slide. Now, SD-WAN load balancing uses traffic distribution methods that are similar to those used by the equal cost multipath ECMP, which you've seen in the past lessons. However, SD-WAN link load balancing includes one more balancing method, which is volume. By default, the load balance method is set to source IP based. However, you can change the load balancing mode using the command in CLI, which is config system virtual WAN link, set the load balancing mode, whichever load balancing mode you would like, and then end. You will be using part of this thing in your lab. Now, SD-WAN link load balancing uses the following 5 methods. Source IP address. Here, all traffic from a source IP is sent to the same interface. Wait or source destination IP. Session with the same source or destination IP pairs use the same interface. Usage or spillover. Use one interface until a threshold is reached and then use the next interface. Weight. Traffic will be distributed based on weights assigned to the interfaces. And finally, volume. Volume sessions are distributed so that traffic volume is distributed by the interface weights. Now, it's also called as measured volume based. Here, the traffic in bytes specifically, and more traffic is sent to interfaces with higher volume ratios. Now, if you look closely on the slide here, you will realize that after you have enabled the SD-WAN and configured the member interfaces and the load balancing method, a logical interface with the name SD-WAN, as is mentioned here on top, is created. Uh, is automatically added to the interface list. Next, you must create the routes and firewall policy using this virtual interface, which are again mentioned here in the same slide. You must still configure a default route when implementing SD-WAN. The default route configuration using the SD-WAN interface does not require a gateway address because FortiGate will forward packets to the appropriate gateway based on the member interface gateway information. When using SD-WAN, you do not need to configure multiple firewall policies for individual member interfaces. I had mentioned this in the previous slide. Firewall policies created with the SD-WAN interface allow traffic to be forwarded through any member interface. Now, even though you must configure routes using the SD-WAN virtual interface, FortiGate installs individual routes for the member interfaces in the routing table. These routes share the same attribute, which means the destination address and subnet, distance and priority, and are both active. This allows FortiGate to remove individual routes in the interface in case of an outage and redirect all traffic to the remaining member interfaces without affecting the whole SD-WAN load balancing group. You would be initiating a part of this experiment as you go through the lab today. Now, time for a quick knowledge check. I have two questions for you. Which method of load balancing is supported by SD-WAN but not supported by ECMP routing? I mentioned this in one of the previous slides. And second question, which of the following configuration task is correct when implementing SD-WAN? A, configure a default route using the SD-WAN virtual interface. B, configure firewall policies for each individual member interface. You can keep your answers coming along on the chat. Now, after completing the second part of this video, your objectives that you will achieve is that you will configure a SD-WAN performance service level agreements and identify how FortiGate measures the link quality. Now, we need to understand what is performance SLA for a SD-WAN. This primarily consists of two parts that make up the performance SLA window. Now, the performance SLA window consists of the link health monitor and the SLA targets. We'll look at this individually in the coming slide. Right, so let's look at the performance SLA link health monitor. The link health monitor is a mechanism for detecting when a router along the path is stopped or degraded. FortiGate can check the status or health of each SD-WAN member interface participating in a performance SLA by periodically sending probing signals through each member link to a server that act as a beacon. You can specify up to 2 servers to act as beacons. This is to guard against the server being at fault and not the link. The GUI provides two protocol options with which to perform the status check, ping and HTTP. But the CLI, you can have 5 options. These options are ping and HTTP as in the GUI mode, but also TCP echo, UDP echo, and two-way active measurement protocol or TWAMP, which is specific to FortiGate. Now, the performance SLA or the health check measures the quality of the link connected to the member interface participating in a performance SLA. 3 different criteria are used for this measurement: latency, jitter, and packet loss percentage. If these values that are used against the SLA criteria within the rules that are used to route traffic based on the link quality of each member. The packet loss, latency, and jitter that are displayed are based on the replies, that is, it's averaged over a short time, from the server that the performance SLA is using. The system will start with the first server. If that server becomes unavailable, then it will switch to a second server. It will stay with that second server until it becomes unavailable. At that point, it will go back to the first server. If both servers are unavailable, then that performance SLA is deemed dead. It is important to note that the green up arrow here, these green up arrows here that are actually mentioned here, are indicating only that the server is responding to health check, regardless of the packet loss, latency, and jitter values. It is not an indication that any of the SLAs are being met. Now a word about the SLA targets. The quality of service for traffic associated with this performance SLA is defined by the SLA targets. An SD-WAN member link assigned to this performance SLA must meet the SLA targets in order to be selected over the other participating links. You can configure the latency, jitter, and packet loss threshold to meet your needs and create granular SLA targets to fine-tune the SD-WAN for specific applications. Although SLA targets are specified on the performance SLA page, which is mentioned here on the slide, they are not actually used here. The value configured there are used only when referenced by a rule. You must create multiple SLA targets per performance SLA, although there are few scenarios in which you would want to do that. For example, you are located in a branch office and use a few different applications that run on the same server headquarters. You could create one performance SLA that will perform the health check on that server, but then have different SLA targets for different applications. You could make the rules for some applications lenient, but more strict for the others. If, however, the applications are running on different servers, then you would want to create different performance SLAs for each application in order to have the health checks go against the specific application's server. And each performance SLA will require only one SLA target for that application. This is also where you can set how often the system checks the link status to determine if it needs to transfer the traffic to another link. The failure before inactive and restore link after setting are to help prevent the system from continuously transferring traffic back and forth between links, a condition known as flapping. The CLI commands for configuring performance SLAs provide more options. The TCP echo, UDP echo, and TWAP options are only available on the CLI, as I had mentioned 2 slides earlier. These options provide different methods of measuring round-trip network performance between any 2 devices that support them. There are other CLI only options that are available based only on the performance SLA protocol that you choose. You can configure the warning and alert thresholds for latency, jitter, and packet loss qualities. I have mentioned these on the left side where the commands are mentioned on the slide. They are also not available on the GUI. You can configure multiple SLA targets with different values on both the GUI and the CLI. Now time for a quick knowledge check. Question 1. Which one of the following link attributes is used in SD-WAN link quality measurement? Cost, B, latency. Question number 2. What is the following status check protocol? Which of the following status check protocol is available for the CLI? TCP echo, HTTP. Now, keep your answers flowing on the chat mode, please. Now in the third section of this video, we're going to look at what SD-WAN rules are, and we'll identify certain SD-WAN rule matching criteria and then configure dynamic link selection based on the link quality. We have spoken about link quality. Now we're going to do that. Part of this is very important for you when you are doing the lab today. Now SD-WAN's rules allow you to specify which traffic you want to route through which interface. You can configure the SD-WAN rules to choose the egress interface based on a link's latency, jitter, or packet loss percentages that you configured under the performance SLA targets. The rules are evaluated in the same way as firewall policies. That means from top to bottom using the first match. You can use the following parameters, and I'd like you to make a note of that, although it's mentioned here, to match the traffic. First, source IP address, destination IP address, or the port number. ISDB address objects as destinations, firewall applications as destinations, user or user groups, and the type of service. SD-WAN rules offer great flexibility when matching traffic. For example, you can route Netflix traffic from specific authenticated users through one ISP while routing the rest of the internet traffic through another ISP. For example, you could also, like if in the case of Wintech, the Zoom traffic or all traffic coming in from Zoom is handled by a specific interface vis-a-vis other traffic that is going to Moodle. So you can configure traffic at an application level, and that is why it gives great flexibility to the network administrator. Now, SD-WAN can use the Internet Service Database or ISDB as well as the Application Control Database to steer applications along a specific link. FortiGuard maintains these databases. I'm sure you remember what FortiGuard was for the antivirus presentation. And FortiGate periodically gets an updated copy. When using application control databases, you should enable SSL inspection for the most accurate application identification. Now, FortiGate SD-WAN offers 4 strategies for selecting the best outgoing interfaces. The first being manual, the second is best quality, third is lowest cost based on the SLA, and fourth is maximize bandwidth based on the SLAs. Let's talk a little bit about manual strategy. Using the manual strategy, you can select an interface you want to send traffic out from. If the traffic matches the rule criteria, the traffic will go out from the selected interface. This strategy does not depend on performance SLAs or the SLA targets. The best quality strategy, that's the second one, is based on the performance of the network. In this example shown on the slide, port 1 and port 2 are included in the interface preference. So port 1 will be used because it is the first on the list until the quality criteria of the network is 10% worse than that of port 2. At which point port 2 would take over. By default, the quality criteria is 10%, but you can change it in the CLI using the set link cost threshold command. Note that you don't use any of the SLAs here. The quality check on the performance is only using the server information, that is health check against the quality criteria. You can use the option of latency, jitter and packet loss percentages. You can also use the bandwidth option, that is downstream bandwidth or upstream bandwidth or bidirectional bandwidth. You can choose which you wish to. And so that the FortiGate selects the link based on the available bandwidth of incoming, outgoing or bidirectional traffic. This is useful because users may use some application primarily for downloading and other applications primarily for uploading. The last option, as is mentioned here, customer profile 1, allows you to base the link selection on a combination of its criteria values. The link quality will be determined by the equation. The larger the value, the more weight that criteria will have in the selection. I'll repeat, the larger the value, the more weight that criteria will have in the selection. Leave the weight value at 0 to exclude that criteria from the equation. Now that's mentioned here. Please pay attention to this particular equation from the exam perspective as well. The third rule option is lowest cost SLA. With the lowest cost SLA strategy, you select an SLA target from a performance SLA that you want to measure the traffic against. You got to note that even if a performance SLA has multiple SLA targets, you can only select one of the SLA targets for that particular performance SLA. We'll dig a little further into the lowest cost SLA here. Now FortiGate follows the flow shown on the slide on the left to select an outgoing interface for the lowest cost SLA. For example, SD-WAN has 4 member interfaces, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Refer to the table shown on the right side of the slide. First, FortiGate considers the SLA and eliminates interface 4 from the outgoing interface selection. Based on the SLA, FortiGate will consider 3 interfaces. Then FortiGate considers the cost to eliminate any interface from the consideration. You can configure the cost in network SD-WAN under the SD-WAN member interface members. FortiGate will select an interface with a lower cost. In the example shown on the slide, interface 1 and 2 have cost 5 and interface 3 has a cost of 10 set. This has already been set by you. FortiGate will eliminate interface 3 from consideration and now will consider interface 1 and 2 for the outgoing interfaces. Lastly, FortiGate will check the priority set for all the interfaces to select an outgoing interface. In this example, shown on the slide here, interface 2 has a higher priority than interface 1. In this case, FortiGate will select interface 2 as the outgoing interface for the traffic matching the rule. Now, the final SD-WAN rule option is maximize bandwidth SLA, and this feature introduces a new load balance mode for the SD-WAN rule. If traffic matches the rule specifications, the traffic will be load balanced among the selected members which satisfy the SLA specification. If there are multiple SLA criteria, traffic will only be load balanced to the members satisfying the most SLA criteria. The example on the slide shows this interface. 1, 2, and 3 satisfy the SLA requirements and interface 4 does not. In this case, the traffic matching the rule will be load balanced between interface 1, 2, and 3. Using this method, FortiGate will not take cost or priority into consideration. Application-specific rules are evaluated in the same way as the firewall policies, from top to bottom using the first match. An implicit rule is automatically generated when you enable SD-WAN. If none of the conditions of any of the other rules are met, then the implicit rule will be used. This implicit rule is designed to balance the traffic among all the available SD-WAN member links. Double-click the implicit rule will display the load balancing options when you are configuring this particular rule. Similar to ISDB routes, SD-WAN rules function as policy routes. They take precedence over any other routes in the routing table. Now coming to the final knowledge check for SD-WANs. Question 1. Which of the following is an SD-WAN rule matching parameter for traffic sources? A. User group. B. IPS signatures. 2. You can configure SD-WAN rules to choose the egress interface based on which one of the following parameters? Weight. B. Latency. Right. You can keep your answers coming, and we'll now catch up on the Zoom interface.